travelers, welcome back to my channel where I share knowledge that I have obtained as well as my experiences to help you on your spiritual path as I continue to grow on my own. So guys, I had an amazing reading today, this morning. Well, it's actually yesterday now, sorry. I'll be losing track of time. Okay, but that's my girl Yaya. She is an amazing reader, guys. She was so on point. So I really highly recommend her if you would like your own tarot card reading. So I will leave her Facebook information, the link to her Facebook down in the description box below. So when you're finished with this video, you can check that out. Alright, also, happy new moon, happy wolf moon, because the full moon is in Leo tonight. Yay! So I got all my little fiery colors. I am a Leo moon. So yeah, guys, happy full moon in Leo, and make sure you're doing your releasing tonight if you're doing moon work. Remember, we don't want to manifest on a full moon. We want to release, so you can release the intentions that you set for the new moon, or release things you don't need, like, you know, negative feelings, negative people, negative things in your life. Anyway, let's get into this video. What are we talking about today? We are going to be talking about soul contracts, y'all. What are soul contracts? Well, in short, they are agreements that we made before we came into these physical bodies. With each reincarnation, our soul has a special mission to accomplish and certain lessons that we must learn in order to accomplish that mission. So the end goal, of course, is to not have to come back here to complete those missions, learn all those lessons, so we don't have to come back. So that's another conversation for another time. So what do these contracts consist of? Number one, we agree that we're going to get a body, a physical body, and that body is ultimately going to expire. Okay, so time is ticking from the time we get here. We agree that we have a mission that we have to carry out. We all have a special purpose in this existence. And our third, and perhaps one of our most important agreements, besides our mission, of course, is the agreement with other souls that we incarnate with, who are going to help us on our journey. Now, that help is not always nice, alright, because we need challenges as well as guidance to accomplish these missions. Now, when we get here to Earth, what happens is we start to forget, guys. From the time we were born, we start to forget these agreements and these contracts that we made in the first place, okay? That's why we begin to get attached to these bodies. We don't want to get old. We get obsessed with how to extend our looks, how to extend our lives here. And we forget our purpose for coming here, and we pretty much start forgetting this. Once we get about 7 years old, we have totally forgotten. And we get programmed with all the things of this physical existence. Like, we become attached to money, we become attached to, you know, setting up a life for ourselves here. We become attached to getting retirement funds, health insurance, all that stuff, okay? We become attached to material things. And as we go on our spiritual journey, our goal is to remember our purpose, okay? That is why we are here. That is the biggest reason we will experience our spiritual awakening, sometimes spontaneously, but more often than not through pain or some sort of trauma, okay? And we may have forgotten in our conscious mind what our mission is, but our soul never, ever forgets why we came here. Okay, we just become like out of touch with our higher selves. The more that we become more and more human. Remember, guys, we are spiritual beings having a human experience, okay? And as usual, you can see me looking down at my notes because I always have a lot of stuff to cover. Y'all know that. But these contracts also include things we would have to go through in order to complete our mission. That's right. Like, we chose this, and I know right now y'all are thinking, oh my God, girl, no, there is no in hell that I would choose these circumstances or to be born in these circumstances, to be tied or involved with these people or go through this mess. But I'm here to tell you, you absolutely did. Why? Well, because your soul knew exactly what you would need to experience in order to carry out this purpose. Now, don't mistake this for predestination, meaning that every detail is mapped out of how this will all play out for you. That's not true. We have what we call different timelines, which you could think of as different routes, like in a GPS. But like, no matter which one you decide to take, the ultimate goal is to put you back on track to get your purpose taken care of. Okay, because we have free will, so there's just no way that could happen, because we have free will, and so that's how we end up getting off course or taking these alternate routes and stuff like that. Okay, and your soul will always do what's necessary to get you back on track or get you on track in the first place. But often what will happen is the choices we make in this lifetime, it will cause us to fail to complete our missions or fail to learn our lessons because we agreed to this physical body. And what happens is eventually this body runs out of time. Time runs out for it. So our souls are eternal. And we will have to come back again and again until we get it right. Okay, now, about those agreements we made with other people, with other souls. We choose our parents, guys, so that we can get the kind of upbringing we are going to need for our particular mission. And whether that childhood is good or bad, it's necessary depending upon your mission. In turn, before our parents incarnated here, they also chose us to be their children for whatever lessons they would need or need to go through in order to do their missions. Okay, this is all very interconnected, as I'll touch on a little bit later. Some people we incarnate with are meant to be guides. Okay, while others are meant to teach us lessons, okay, or give us challenges to overcome, as I mentioned earlier, so that we can grow. Now, even our own children make contracts with us. We also make contracts with certain romantic partners, certain friends, even certain enemies. Yes, that is correct. And not every person you experience is necessarily contracted. Sometimes it can be a result of your trauma or your upbringing, the fact that you're attracting this type of person or being drawn to this type of person due to your contracts with others. So that would be kind of like an indirect contract in a way. But most likely, all those important people in your life, sometimes they have smaller roles and it doesn't seem significant at the time. Most likely we're contracted with all of them. Okay, we're not talking about the lady you pass at the grocery store and have a nice conversation with, though. You never know. So how do we identify the people that we're contracted with? Well, for one thing, as we grow on our path, we'll often come to realize, who was strategically placed and why. We've all had those moments where we'll be like, oh, so that's why I met them, or that's why this person was in my life. Those moments. But you... Oh, sorry. We often do reincarnate with the same souls again and again, but they'll be in different roles. For example, your mother in this lifetime may have been your lover in a past lifetime, or even your child in another one. And yeah, that sounds strange, but it's true. Okay. One way we can get clues to identify some of these contracted people is to examine their birth charts, y'all know all of that stuff, okay? And sometimes even look at their life path numbers, but heavy on the birth charts in comparison to your own or comparison to those people's between them, because sometimes the people that you're contracted with, you can see the connection by how they also share some stuff in their birth charts with other people around you. Okay, and if you're not sure how to find out your birth chart information, I will be leaving a link in the description box below so you can calculate that and calculate other people's birth charts as well. Alright, so what you'll want to take note of, guys, is the ascending sign, you want to take note of the sun sign. That's the one we all know. And we want to take note of the moon signs. We could also look at south and north nodes. South and north nodes would be, south node being the qualities that you've already mastered when you came into this lifetime. North node would be the qualities you need to master in this lifetime. So, for example, I'm a Virgo South Node, meaning that I have already mastered those Virgo qualities in my past life. And in this life, with my North Node being Pisces, I need to embrace those qualities. Okay, you can look at all the other placements, but especially that moon, that sun, and that ascending sign in comparison with other people around you. Now, there will often be other connections that can make themselves apparent. It's to the personal individual, okay? And these can be like happenstances, events, birth dates, names, different things like that. All right, but they always go hand in hand, typically with the birth charts placements. So let me break down my own connections for you a little bit so you can see how freaky this really gets, guys. Okay, it's not a game. I'm telling you, this stuff cannot be made up. There are no coincidences, no accidents. All right, let's start with my parents. So my mother is a Sagittarius. My father is a Cancer. Now, for those of you who don't know a whole lot about astrology, Sagittarius and Cancer are each other's natural mortal enemies. Okay, y'all? I don't even know how they got together in the first place. But anyhow, they had a very difficult relationship, to say the least. And as you may have guessed, they separated when I was very young. So this initial union that began my incarnation here is also the root of a lot of my wounding, y'all, because I was a very torn person because of this, very conflicted, always torn between my parents with all their anger at each other and how they would just like fight and argue over me, over anything under the sun. Now, as a life path number 2, I've discussed this before in my other videos. My number is all about duality and balance, healing, and bringing peace, bringing mediation, that kind of stuff. And had I not come into a life where I was caused to be so conflicted, I would not have had to overcome that challenge to balance myself. So since I had to go through so much of that struggle, which it's still not perfect, but it's gotten much better, I had to struggle so much to balance myself and heal myself, and come to terms with that duality, those dark and light natures in myself. It makes me better equipped to be able to do my mission and do that for other people. Okay, so now let me allow to blow your mind a little bit. This is where it gets fun. So, as I said earlier, my sun sign's a Capricorn, right? My stepmother, who is one of my closest, nearest, and dearest, and one of my guides on this path, she is also a Capricorn sun, just like me. We're the same sun sign. Now, my father's a Cancer, as I mentioned, who my stepmom's obviously married to, and my husband is also a Cancer. All right, so not only do my husband and father share their same sun sign, they are both Libra rising signs. If that's not freaky enough, they also have the same first name, y'all. Okay, so here we are, me and my stepmom, 2 Capricorn women, married to 2 Cancer men with the same rising sign of Libra, with the same name. Okay, she has 2 daughters, my sisters, with my dad. I have 3 sons. However, both of our firstborn children are Aquariuses. Both of our secondborn children are Aries. All right? So it's just like almost a mirror. Her family and my family is almost a mirror of each other, guys. I don't know about you, but to me, that's way too much to be just a coincidence. Now, my biological mother and I have had a difficult relationship, although I'm proud to say that with a lot of work and a lot of healing, it is getting so much better. And my stepmother and I have had more of a smooth relationship. But as I mentioned earlier, my mother is a Sagittarius, so my stepmom's a Capricorn, but her rising's in Sagittarius, so they share that. And what they share, a bigger thing that they share is that they are both life paths number 7, both the spiritual number. So both of my mothers share the life path number as well as Sagittarius placement. So one of them was teach me lessons, well, both of them in their own ways, and one to guide me, okay? And let me just say that Sagittarius and Capricorn are best friends. Now, my stepmother and my mother are not, well, because of circumstances, but that's where I come in. I'm the mediator, right? To take this a little further, 2 of my son's fathers are also Sagittarius, like my mother, the place of my wounding. And needless to say, I learned some very hard lessons from both of those relationships. And not to mention my Venus, my love planet, is also in Sagittarius. Okay. So I think you guys get what I'm saying here. These are not accidents, guys. These are not coincidences. Really, really get to know your birth charts. Get to know the birth charts of those people around you. And if that's not possible, if you don't have all the information to make that happen, like birth times and all of that stuff, at least get to know their sun sign, all right, as much as you can. And just start comparing your charts with other people's that you feel has an impact in your life, or it's the people around you, period. You'll be surprised sometimes. But instead of being bitter or angry, about these difficult relationships or things that certain people have done to you, parents, relationships, start looking at how they've impacted you and how you've grown from them. And that can help you on your path. Because understand, again, your soul chose these people for a reason. If your purpose is to heal others, you will first need to go through some shit, guys, to learn how to heal yourself first. So I'll give you another example of that. My third and my youngest child was taken from me by social services. I won't go deep into the details of that situation, but I'm not ashamed. Because I've come so far. But I will say, without that occurring in my life, y'all, I probably never would have went to jail. I would have never gotten clean, and I would have never had my spiritual awakening. Because as I said, they often happen through pain, the awakening. And I don't know his personal mission, guys, but I do know that he had his purpose in my life, and I know that him choosing me as his mother had a purpose in his as well. And once again, I'm a Capricorn sun. My rising sign is Gemini. My youngest son I just talked about is a Gemini sun with a Capricorn moon. Alright? So that we're definitely, this is definitely meant to happen. And I'm pretty sure that he's one of the people I've known in my past life before. Because when I tell y'all that he is he came out knowing he'd been here before. Yeah. My youngest son that I'm talking about, he also transformed everyone's life around him, and especially my father. My father went through some bad health problems after all this, or doing all of this, the loss of my son, and he quit drinking after years of alcoholism. And well, like my son's sign of Gemini, my father's moon sign is a Gemini. And as I just mentioned, my rising is a Gemini. So we're all connected there. So there's just so many other connections I could share with y'all, but I don't have all day. And I know you don't either. Please realize that once you know who you're contracted with them, then you can know why you're contracted with them. And sometimes you know why. You know why this person came in your life, and you can look at their birth chart and be like, oh, that all connects. Okay? But ultimately, you'll be able to identify what you needed from them and what they needed from you. And this will help you to learn and uncover things about yourself that will lead you on your purpose in this lifetime. So you can get up out of here. So you can get up out of here, y'all, because this is the sole reason that I made this channel, because I want y'all to get on your spiritual path. I want you to grow on that spiritual path. I want you to find your mission, find your purpose. Let's get up out of here, y'all. This is not it. This is not it. This is not it. Okay? Another important thing to realize is that we're all collective consciousness. Okay? So we're all in this together, forever entwined. Whether that your energy or your soul has ascended from here forever and you are done, or you are stuck here, or you are still continuing to come back here. Okay? Because depending on how far you want to go with this, these connections can go even further. Because I was researching on some of my ancestors yesterday online, and I saw that one of my ancestors died on the birthday of the other ancestor, and one was from my grandfather's line, one was from my grandmother's line. So y'all can, and that would tie into my grandmother and my grandfather together. Like, it just goes on and on. And at the beginning of this video, I did mention the lady Yaya who did my reading for me yesterday. And let me just say again, it was on point. Like, it really shocked me. I was about to fall out, y'all. It was very detailed in the script. But guess what? The interesting thing is that we both share the same sun sign of Capricorn. She is a rising Sagittarius, like my mother, and a moon in Cancer, like my father. So this girl is just like my parents and me all in one, and even my stepmom too, because they share the sun and rising signs together. And I said, as I said, this is all like very interconnected. And I'll tell you one more story before I wrap this up. When me and my husband met, we were both married to other people. Not a proud moment, but hey, it happens. So the thing is here is that his ex-wife is a Libra, which is Capricorn's natural enemy, my natural enemy. My ex-husband was a Sagittarius, which is his natural enemy. My husband's a Cancer's natural enemy. So y'all, what are the chances? Do y'all think it's a coincidence that both of our exes, who we were with at the time and ended up leaving them for each other, was one another's natural enemy? Do y'all think that was a coincidence? No, I don't think so. And just to add to that just a little bit, a girl who is one of my enemies in this lifetime, guess her sign is a Pisces, which is my North Node. Now, Pisces as the North Node, Pisces, I'm supposed to be trying to embrace these qualities. And every love-hate relationship I've ever had with a female was with a Pisces, just to throw that out there, okay? And now the important Pisces in my life is my grandmother. First one I've ever really had a loving relationship with. So maybe I'm getting closer, because we're getting closer. Anyway, I hope this video was useful. And as always, you can email me or comment questions. Please comment like any connections that you may see or realize already by watching this video. Don't forget to hit up my girl Yaya for that reading. I will leave her information. I'll leave my email. And click those links to get started on calculating those birth charts for you and those around you. And thank you for watching, guys. That's all I have for you today. See you at the next stop. Bye, soul travelers.